a Jersey Shore discussion podcast. How are you?
I'm great. My flip phone just came in the mail and I'm really excited about it. I have my notes for this episode on my iPhone, but after this, it will be out of commission after I figure out how to rejoin iMessage group chats through my laptop.
All right. Well, this we're reviewing episode 5 of season 1.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff happens this episode. It's certainly not like on the more chaotic end of things, but it's pretty eventful. We start with the fallout from Snooki getting punched.
Yes. I had a few things to say about this.
Okay.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like Mike was the reason they thought the shots were for them, and then he didn't correct them when they started taking them, and then just watched them punch Snooki and didn't do anything.
Yeah, I was a little confused about that because I remember at one point it's Ronnie saying to Sam, "Oh, Mike just watched." And I was like, it's Ronnie.
Yeah.
He's like an angry guy, whatever." But then I think there was a talking head with like Vinny or maybe Pauly saying like, "Yeah, Mike was buying them shots."
Yeah, so that's why they would be confused, because they were like, yeah, he was buying them shots all night.
Yeah, but that's like the problem again when you're drunk all the time is like you can't just like talk through miscommunications like that. It's gonna like
No.
immediately escalate to violence. And not saying that that would justify that guy's like punching Snooki at all.
The fact that, like, he knew what the miscommunication was and didn't correct them and then just let them punch her.
I would really, with some of the stuff that Mike does to like create conflict in the house, like I almost feel like he's like a producer plant or something.
Yeah.
Like just because Mike does so much idiotic stuff that
Yeah.
starts drama in the house. Like Mike in particular just comes off really terrible in this episode. He looks like a
Yeah.
total idiot.
Because after that, they're trying to go home and, like,
Oh
they
my
have to,
God.
like Ron has to talk Vinny down from, like, going to fight the boys.
I was about to say.
And then Mike is just like, hey, do you want to come home with us? Like, flirting with this, like, girl and trying to, like, get her to, like, stay over.
And she's not even like into it. Like you can really tell from like her body language and her like not that that would justify him flirting with someone after like
Yeah,
his
but
friend
it
is
was like he was
assaulted.
really reaching, and it just came off as really
Yeah, where
insensitive.
she's like, "Oh, no, cuz like I got a roommate and he's going to lock me out if I don't come home, so I can." And da, 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 and he's like, "No, no." And he's really trying and it's like, "Mike, your energy should not."
Read the freaking room,
Exactly.
my guy.
Oh, I was gonna comment before on like Vinny like getting really upset. Like, I think it's nice and I think it really shows like the house coming together, but also it's funny when he's like pacing around, but he's got the backwards checkered cap
Oh,
and he
man.
looks like a freaking Jonas brother, you know? That's what he looks like. And he's like, "Man, like that guy is glad he's in jail or else I beat him up." Like, okay.
Okay.
Maybe you go back to Camp Rock, idiot. How about that? But yeah, and I think also the person who mainly comes away looking really good from the whole Snooki getting punched situation is JWoww. Because I think
course.
JWoww handles this like perfectly. And I think
Champ.
this was the point in the series where I really started to like JWoww and her sort of like maternal side really started to like come out.
Yeah.
Like the way she helps Snooki and helps her like file all the papers at the police station, like it's really sweet. And like I think this is where you start to see the budding of that like iconic friendship between Snooki and JWoww of
Yeah.
like
Because I think I think Snooki says in this episode, like her getting punched kind of like cemented her as like a real member of the house.
Yeah.
Because she was like willing to go to bat for them. And so I think, yeah, when she gets punched, like that, like finally turned everyone around towards her.
yeah.
And
Because
it's also funny because like JWoww, like she comes in first episode going like, you know, like after I have sex with a guy, I'll rip their heads off. But she like has like is like really committed with her boyfriend, but like I don't know, she like wears those like outfits, but like and like I guess she like does like cheat on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But like she's not nearly as bad as she like makes herself out to be.
Yeah, exactly. Like she's like she tries to like put up a front of being like this tough girl badass, but like really, you know, she's just a sweetie, which is like I love that. It's funny how like Sammy's name is Sammy Sweetheart. And she sucks, but JWoww is like I don't know. And also this is the episode where somebody calls Snooki fat.
Yeah.
And JWoww immediately starts like punching the crap out of her.
Yeah.
Like it's you gotta love JWoww. Mm-hmm. She's great. Because it's like she's also just entertaining to watch.
Yeah. She's also very beautiful.
Yes.
to watch.
So, what else was I gonna say?
My thing was, like, of course the guy, the frat bro got released immediately on bail because he was wearing, like, a literal polo.
Oh, okay.
Like, his parents were definitely, like,
no,
not
so here's the thing. Here's the thing, because I looked, and you can look this up. I'm not gonna say his name, but, like, you can find out what happened to him pretty easily. I think I got it off. It's, like, TMZ or something. So, like, take this with a grain of salt. But he was not a frat boy. He was a gym teacher.
Oh.
Imagine being a high schooler in 2010 and your gym teacher's on Jersey Shore for punching Snooki. Oh my god.
Does he still have a job?
No, so he got fired from his job after that.
Good.
And, like, it, like, ruined his life, basically, which is, like, yeah. Like, yeah, of course. So he ended up joining the military, and then he's just been in the military ever since.
Oh my god.
Imagine Snooki sending you to the military.
It kind of reminds me of, like, when, like, Logan Paul got, like, canceled on YouTube. He started, like, doing, like, ring matches and, like, fighting people.
I don't think those are the same thing at all. So, yeah, and then I also figured out, in the last episode, we were wondering why they don't actually they show her getting punched in the previews, but they don't show her getting punched in the actual episode.
Yeah.
And it's because of a conflict with their advertisers, I believe, where they didn't want to, like, promote, like, violence against women or, like, use violence against women to, like, profit. Which is, I don't know, it's weird. Because
also, like, so much of the rest of the show is, like, not super... like forward thinking.
It's weird that like that's where they draw the line.
Yeah. Because like the dudes will like go and beat guys up all the time.
Yeah, or like even in the later seasons when the girls get into some physical fights, it's fine.
Yeah,
but it's like a man hurting a woman, no.
Yeah, and like all the stuff with like that like Ronnie pulls, but it's like still like acceptable
because he's not directly
because of, like, bro code.
Yeah. So yeah, I think
and it's also I don't know, cuz like Snooki comes in, I think one of the first things she says is like size doesn't matter, like I'm small, but like don't mess with me cuz I'll fight you. But then like as soon as I don't know, this is kind of bad, but it's like she says that. And then when she gets punched, she's like, who punches a girl? But, like, she was the one, like, yelling in their faces. Yeah. And it's like, no, like, they shouldn't have punched her.
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing where, like, she'll be like, yeah, like, I'll fight anyone. But then if someone punches her, it's like, oh, someone punched a girl and they're terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she means, like,
I'll fight another girl.
I think that's more it. Yeah. But it's, like, it's 4'9". Like, even if, like, I don't know. Like, I'm just, like, I feel like I could take Snooki.
Yeah.
I mean I'm kind of
lower like center of balance, so maybe she's like I don't know, maybe she doesn't fall over as easily. She could like I don't know like stab your legs a lot.
I mean I feel like she could like cuz I'm about 5'5" and she's like 4'9", so I'm like trying to
You're
visualize.
Gianni's height. The same height as Gianni.
I'm the same height as Michael J. Fox. The other day, I found that out. Anyway, but do you think you could beat Snooki in a fight? Do you think you could beat any of the Jersey Shore members of? Well, because I've never been in a fight.
That's the thing, yeah. Like I haven't been in a fight since like elementary school when it was just like, I don't know, like it wasn't like an actual fight where it was mad at someone.
It's like a tussle.
It's a tussle.
Do you think elementary school you could beat Snooki?
Oh, like me in like 3rd grade?
Yeah.
Honestly, probably. Like I was like one of the boys like on the playground.
Yeah, but I feel like the thing with Snooki is I feel like she would bite you. Like I feel like Snooki would like bite and scratch and like whatever.
Yeah,
Like
she
she
would
has
like
no
play
honor
dirty.
code.
Yeah.
I don't think I could beat JWoww in a fight. I think I could probably beat Sammy in a fight.
I don't know. I feel like Sammy couldn't. I feel like she can fight.
She's got those extensions though. You tug on the extensions. I'm saying this again as
but like
someone
also
who's
she
never.
She was like a student athlete in college.
I'm not even.
She was like buff.
I do treadmill sometimes.
Me too.
So, and I'm in college, so you know. I don't know. I know. I'm saying all this stuff, but the instant anyone raises their voice at me, I start tearing up. So maybe
Yes.
maybe we should take it with a grain of salt. And then I feel like, yeah, I couldn't beat any of the boys in a fight. So
No.
I think I could hurt their feelings a lot, but
Yes.
I don't think I could beat them in a physical fight.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what was my point? I love we're just like, violence is bad. Violence is bad. But who do you think you could take, though, realistically?
It's all hypothetical.
Hypothetically. We might need to, though, if Mike gets pissed enough.
No.
So then, after kind of the fallout from the fight... Oh, the one other thing I was going to mention about Mike. I thought it was really slimy and weird how Ronnie, like, goes to Snooki when she's in bed, right? And he's trying to say to her, like, look, you know... we really care about you, like, you're one of us, I'm sorry you got punched, like, whatever. And it seems really genuine.
Yeah.
Ronnie, I'm generally not a fan of because of his general, you know, whatever.
Yeah, there are things that he's
but
done that are not
I
forgivable.
think that scene is, like, really sweet. He comes off really genuine, and it's so slimy how Mike immediately sees that, and then he also kind of, like, gets on the bed, and he's like, I love you, Snookers, like, da-da-da-da-da, and it's like, first of all, you were just flirting with somebody, like, right after she got punched, and you were kind of...
could have prevented
you
it.
probably could, like, don't even, like, if you're gonna come to her, like, on your own, great, but it really looked like that he was just coming to her because, like, Ronnie was doing it, and it was making Ronnie look good.
Yeah.
And it was so gross.
Yeah.
That was my one comment on that. So then,
Then
after...
dinner, right?
No.
Family
So
dinner?
after that, I wanted to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
After that, Ronnie's family comes. He introduces Sam to her, which is crazy because it's been like a week.
Yeah.
But, you know, God bless him. I noticed, though, because he brings Sam out on this day with his family, Vinny is there.
Yeah.
I was like, well, in his little Joe Bros hat. Like, I was like, why is Vinny there? Like, Sam's like, it's so sweet. Like, I'm meeting his little brother and his mom and his dad, and then also Vinny. Yeah, but then the dinner. What did you have to say about the dinner?
I have the note, lobster gross. Lobster is gross.
We don't agree on this. We've talked about this at length.
We have.
Okay. Can I just clarify my position?
Sure.
I'm not like a lobster fanatic. I'd just like to say that for the record. Like, if somebody told me, oh, you never have to have lobster for the rest of your life, like, whatever. Like, if I want to convert to, like, Judaism right now and be kosher, like, tight. I would do it. But... But I like lobster when it's, like, a special treat. I have, like, some good memories of being on vacation with our dad, and we're in, like, a seaside town. He's like, oh, let's get lobster. I like that it's a food that you can, like, it's an activity. You know what I mean? Like, there's a ritual to it. You gotta break it apart. You get to eat with your hands, kind of. Like, I like that about lobster. Would I ever choose to have lobster? No. Do I like having lobster with my father? Yes. I would like to clarify that. Okay. I think lobster is very nice.
There's just something about, like, the mouthfeel and the distinct taste of food that comes in shells that I just really don't vibe with. Like, it's, like, extra slimy, and there's, like, I don't know, like, a weird, like, ocean taste, and, like, not in a good way. For me personally. And also the fact that, like, lobsters, like, if I looked at a lobster, like, out in the wild, I wouldn't go, like, that thing that's covered in, like, red, like, not red, but, like, just like armor basically, and it like looks like a bug, and it has these two like really long like tentacle things that it like they use to like feel, and it has these little black beady eyes. I'm not like gonna go like, yum, let me have some of that. And also the fact that you have to like crush its claws with like the crusher thing that you have in your hand, and you have to like wear a bib because you get so dirty because you're just like massacring this like carcass. Disgusting.
I think that shows what different people we are, where I'm like, yay, like, it's an activity, and you're like, it's massacring a carcass. You can really, like, pose it either way, and that's the beauty of the English language. Yeah.
Oh, another thing was, Mike's one redeeming quality is that he cooks.
Yeah.
In this season.
But, I think the thing he pulls with Sammy is so, I mean, both of them both of them are irritating in this scene, because it's one of those conflicts that's entirely based around pride.
Mm-hmm.
Because the argument basically is Mike cooked dinner, and he has some resentment that the girls didn't help at dinner at all, which it doesn't seem like he asked them to.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like you should be mad about that if you didn't ask them to. And then B, there's some holdover resentment from when Sam chose Ron over him.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't need to clear my plate because I cooked dinner. Like, and Sam's like, I'm not gonna take your plate, that's stupid. But it's like one of those things where it's like, the most either of you has to do is like pick up the plate and like throw it out. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those arguments that doesn't need to happen. And I think Ronnie just picks it up and throws it out, and the argument is over.
Yeah, because also Mike wasn't the only one cooking. Didn't all the guys
cooked, yeah.
And all the other guys were totally fine with picking up their plates.
Yeah, and it's not even because I think maybe it was a situation where the girls were doing the dishes and then the guys were cooking. So it's not even like Mike saying, I don't want to do the dishes, because I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's the rule in our house. If you cook, you don't have to do the dishes.
Yeah.
But just Mike not even picking up his plate and like going the 3 feet. He's being a baby.
30-year-old baby. 2021 spreading negativity. Oops.
Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. And there's like there's like the gender politics of it.
Yeah. Where they're like, oh, it's weird that the guys are cooking and the girls aren't.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the way it should be. But also, like, I feel like throughout the show, the guys are always cooking more.
Yeah, because I think it has to do with their, like, gym diets. Of, like,
where they have to, like, only eat, like, chicken and greens.
I know Vinny's big thing now is, like, he's
keto.
The Keto Guido.
Yeah.
He has a cookbook called the Keto Guido. I think that's pretty fun. But... yeah, it's this weird resentment of, like, oh, the men are cooking, and, like, that's wrong. Like, he seems mad about it, but it's like, you chose to cook.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they asked you to cook. Like, you chose to cook. Like, for example, I like to cook a lot in my spare time, but I'm not, like, mad about it because I chose to do it. I'm not like, this is so misogynistic, they're making me cook. Like, you...
I thought it was like, oh, we're gonna have a nice family dinner. And then after he's already cooked the nice family dinner, he's like, wait, why did I do that?
It's this weird thing of like, oh, I'm doing a favor for you, so now you owe me. It's like that sort of manipulation, which I don't like.
Not a fan.
Because, like you said, it's not like Mike was the only guy that was cooking. Like, I saw Ronnie in the kitchen, I saw Vinny in the kitchen. Like, they're all preparing stuff together, which is like when you work in a household, you have to be a team, you know?
Yeah.
Or not work in a household, live in a household. So I thought the whole argument was, like, stupid, and it just was... I think it was mostly, like, his resentment towards Sam for choosing Ronnie over him. That's really what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
But there's that weird gendered side of it as well.
Yeah. I also have the quote, "You're excluded from ravioli night. You're excluded from chicken cutlet night."
My notes are Sammy, it's one line. Sammy excluded from, and then it's a bulleted list. Surf and turf night, ravioli night, chicken cutlet night. I don't know if you remember this commercial, but I remember there was a commercial we used to see all the time with, like, one of those really poorly animated cats, and it's like a cat food commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time I had heard the expression surf and turf. Like, there was, like, a brand of cat food that was, like, surf and turf cat food. So now when anyone says, like, surf and turf, I'm just like, oh, that's cat food. That's gross. I don't want that. So when Mike is like, oh, Sammy's excluded from surf and turf knife, I'm like, fucking good. Like, I don't want to eat that. That's
I
so
feel like
stupid.
I don't have because I'm not really into fish and like seafood. Obviously, I don't think I have like a good sense of what surf and turf is.
I believe surf and turf is like part of it is fish and then part of it is like land meat. So like pig,
combining seafood and red meat.
Yeah, pig and steak and all that.
Gross. Ew. Wait, people also ask, what does surf and turf mean sexually?
I don't look dumb.
Ew, what? Oh, wait.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
What is it?
It just means to have sex, I guess. But just like, because I saw like teenagers and I was like, what? But it was commonly used by teenagers in Skins, probably like the TV show Skins. And it means to have sex.
Sammy is excluded from sex night.
Good. Was it? I feel like I heard. No, never mind. That was something else.
Oh, also they kind of expand more about like Pauly's DJ career in this one.
Yeah.
It's really nice seeing Pauly have a passion and have something he's like genuinely like very good at. Because I think in the Shore House, at least later on, it's like these people have no greater aspirations than just partying and continuing to live this lifestyle.
Yeah,
it's not like
that's like what they're getting paid for.
That's what they're getting paid for, and I think it's kind of a bummer. But it's really nice to see Pauly have something he's really genuinely passionate about. That's not like girls or getting drunk. You know what I mean? Or going to the gym. And he's like, he knows a lot about it too. Like he's describing all this equipment and, you know, I think I wrote down the note, not as much of a himbo as he seems.
Probably because he's like 29 when he's doing the first season. So he's had like most of his 20s to like figure out what he actually wants to do. But for the younger cast and like, I don't even know what did Mike even do before this?
I think it was real estate.
Right. Okay,
that checks out.
That checks out for him. But
yeah, and it's nice to hear Snooki talking about how she
wanted to be
a vet, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. You should pursue that. And it's kind of sad to see that MTV enabled these people's bad habits where they stopped really pursuing those things.
You put it really well, where like they kind of, because the show was just enabling them and like paying them to keep with these kind of like immature habits. Yeah, it kind of like stuck them in like a time capsule almost.
It's like they all have arrested development.
Yeah, exactly. And you see that like it's not just like with their aspirations, but also just like emotionally and like how they like handle conflict.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I also liked how Vinny did like there was in like one of the first episodes like Vinny like makes a joke about like, oh, we should say grace before dinner, but then like because it was like after Snooki getting punched, he does like a real grace and is like, I'm really glad that everybody's here together, like I'm having a great time. And I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Then there's like the boat stuff.
Oh god. I'm gonna sound like such a narc for this. But like that is like I feel like someone's gonna drown. You know what I mean? like the whole thing is like, oh, let's all get in boats and get drunk.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What is this? Natalie Wood?
Oh no.
Wasn't that the whole thing? She was drunk, so she fell off the boat, but it was like really her husband or whatever.
Yeah. Not really sure what happened there, but Christopher Walken knows, but he'll never say. Anyway.
Oh, Mike is also seen wearing a Joker t-shirt this episode, and the sentence that came to my mind is, we live in a situation.
No!
I've been sitting on that joke for like a day and a half.
Oh, and I had a joke too, because Snooki is kind of capitalized on her brand. She's opened like the Snooki shop, and she has her like meatball sweatshirts. So she's a small business owner.
Ugh.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
The setup and the payoff.
Yep. Yeah, there's like the really weird interaction between them and the three girls they bring up. Do you remember that?
I don't think I. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like, all the guys they're like, oh yeah, like these are nice girls. Like they're respectful because they don't strip off their clothes in the hot tub, and it's like, yeah, but like it seemed like before when girls were doing that, you were like egging them on.
Yeah.
And you wanted them to do that.
Mike's whole thing is like get in the hot tub.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and unfortunately, sorry to call out, my fave like this, but Vinny has a line where he's like, these are respectable girls. These are girls you have to treat like girls, like human beings. And it's like,
yeah.
Vinny, you should treat everybody like a human being. And it's also like, you're the one that's trying to have sex with these women. You know what I mean? Like, that's on you.
These ones, for some reason, are different.
Because they're not immediately trying to
take their clothes off,
get in the jacuzzi and whatever. And Mike is talking about the girl that he's been set up with, and he's like, yeah, like, I like her enough where I'm not just gonna have sex with her and dump her out. Like, she's pretty enough where I'll treat her well. And it's like...
He's like, I'll take her to lunch and dinner.
Yeah, it's just... That's kind of the unfortunate thing about Jersey Shore, is it's like one of those things where if you think about the weird undertones of it, like, you're just kind of like, ugh. Like, just I like the male characters on the show. Like, I think I like Pauly.
Yeah.
I like Mike sometimes. I generally don't like Ronnie, and I really like Vinny. But it's like all of them have a pretty misogynistic attitude. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the show is obviously trying to conceal this because that doesn't make for like likable characters on TV. But it's like you think about it too hard, and you're like, ooh, it's like this slimy feeling you get.
Yeah, I guess the only, like, it's not even like a counterpoint to that is that it seems like when the girls are going out, they're kind of looking for I don't know, like a similar situation.
Yeah.
Where they're like, yeah, I'm looking for like juice head girly Guidos. They're not like, I mean, like sometimes Snooki's like, I'm looking to fall in love, but mostly it's just like, I want to like hook up with someone and have a one night stand.
Yeah.
So it does seem to happen on both sides.
Yeah, it's not that like I have an issue with. It's more like the fact that because these girls are looking for casual sex or whatever, the guys don't see them as like human beings that are respectable anymore. And it's like, if you're gonna be hooking up with someone under those circumstances, like that's fine if that's what you've like worked out, but you still have to like respect your partner. Do you know what I mean? Like even if it's like a short-lived relationship or short-lived encounter, like they're still people,
Yeah, and you definitely see it most dramatically with Mike. I feel like, where like as soon as a girl's like, no, I don't want to hook up with you, he's like, okay, you have to leave right now.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Or like if like one of his friends is hooking up with someone and he's not, he's like, oh, that's not fair. Can I grab her?
Yeah.
It's like, what?
It's like that's what he thinks women's only purpose is. And again, now Mike seems to have changed his Mike seems to have changed his ways. He's been married for a decent amount of time. He has kids. But it's weird that people like this who are so openly expressing these attitudes were like huge stars and we all like loved them. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Yeah. To quote Snooki, she's a real person.
Yeah. What else? Oh, and then you have the cliffhanger of the episode. Do you remember?
It was a few days ago.
Okay. It was
JWoww's outfit, and that's the last thing I have as my notes.
What was JWoww's outfit?
I think it was just like really crazy cuz
it's JWoww.
Yeah, she's been medically enhanced.
I know, I was like, I didn't want to search like JWoww boob job because I wanted to be respectful, you know what I mean? So I searched like JWoww surgery.
I mean, she's like open about it, like in the first season.
Anyway, but the cliffhanger of this episode is they go out to the club again and Vinny steals Danny's girl.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Right, yeah.
I know. It's funny because when he's first describing her, he's like, yeah, I met this cool older chick, and like they cut and she's maybe like in her 30s or 40s. But I think it would have been funny if like
She was like 50.
no, if she was like 90. If she was like if she had a walker and like a catheter.
No, you.
And Vinny's just making out with her.
Oh boy. Remember when
her name's like Ida? I don't think we have people named Ida anymore.
No.
Yeah, but I have to imagine that whole plot line is fake, you know?
Yeah.
It seems too convenient. And again, it's like people talking about Danny like he's super intimidating, and then they cut to him and he's like,
he looks like Gumby.
Oh. I'm scared of Gumby. He's flexible. But yeah, they cut to him and he's just like, I love cycling. Or he's just like, can you just show up on time, please? Like, I have to imagine, because up to that point, Vinny hadn't really gotten his own storyline.
Yeah.
He had only really gotten, he'd only been like a small part of other people's and that sort of thing. And from what I understand, like, the producers interfered a lot in trying to, like, make these storylines in the first season. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it's, like, she knew Danny or they just fed her the line.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really strange.
It felt very fabricated.
Do you have any closing comments?
One of my notes is forget about it. I think that was the name of the boat that they were on. I also have Vinny drinking large Gatorade. And the problem in the situation where because the girl that like Mike is with, she's like, you know, like, I'm gonna go, like, I can't talk about it here, but like I know what you guys are up to. And Mike's like, what? And then she, like, I guess tells him off camera, and then he comes back into his and Pauly's room and he's like, you know what they're calling us out there? The problem in the situation, getting all the girls.
Did they mix up the word situation with solution? Because it would make sense if it was the problem and the solution.
Maybe it was this, yeah.
Actually, I think Mike is the problem. I think that's a more apt name for Mike. Pauly just...
Maybe it was the situation and the solution, but I feel like I
feel like it would make more sense if the names were the problem and the situation. They're the problem and the solution.
Yeah.
Those go together, but you know, it's Jersey.
I may have been wrong.
No, you're not wrong. Okay. I watched like a little bit ago, but
you got a refresher.
I had a refresher.
Okay. We were interrupted we usually watch right before we do our episode.
We got busy.
Yeah.
How do you want to end it?
Snooki's a real person.